Good evening, Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. You know, we're going to be talking about what I can see over my shoulder is the possibility of early tropical development. But first, before we get to that, I just want to recap in case you missed it. We actually had an announcement made last Thursday. Last Thursday, I believe it was this one. Let me go back to this one, wipe over here, that we had an expectation now of I guess it's now 13 to 19 from NOAA of how many named storms we're going to get this year. And their expectation for hurricanes happens to be 6 to 10 and major hurricanes like 3 to 5. So it's somewhere in the upright. So if they get 15 named storms, nailed it. If they get 15 or 17, nailed it, right? There's a range here, and I'm kind of curious to know if you have an expectation yourself, or if you've been here your whole life, you say, hurricanes are like earthquakes to California and tornadoes to those in Oklahoma, right? It's just what you get. Is that something that you're used to? Is it something that you're accustomed to? Because I can tell you this, one of the things that we're going to talk about is the climatology, fancy word, for when we typically see hurricanes develop. I know June 1st is 5 days away, and that is the start of hurricane season. But I digress. I got to talk about the weather that we've got right now. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Highs today were pretty anemic. We only hit 66. That's 14, count them, 14 degrees below normal. I thought it was supposed to be 80. No, it's not supposed to be. I mean, a normal is a normal. It's just 30-year average. That's like telling a C student they should be an A student. Or an F student should be a C student or an A. You know, it is what it is. It's an average. We hit 67 in Virginia Beach, 69 in Manio, and 68 in Hampton today. Kind of curious to know what you have been experiencing today. You say, it's nothing but rain. It's been light to moderate rain, no doubt. You can see it's beginning to show signs of slowing down west of Interstate 95. So I-95 west is drying out. The rain that we've had so far, as of 7 o'clock, because I did my homework, we've now had 0.08. 0.08, that's it. And really very little measurable in the Smithfield, Hampton, Williamsburg area based on our rain gauges here, but 1/3 of an inch closing up on Jackson, North Carolina, and 0.03 of an inch in Elizabeth City. And if we do it one step further, about 0.12 has fallen in Chesapeake and Suffolk. By the way, I couldn't do this without my sponsor, Marco's Pizza. We're giving away free pizza. 10 lucky winners. All you have to do to win, and it's not too late. We're going to give away 10 pizzas, free pizzas for a year. A year? Who does that? Marco's doing that. And there are 5 convenient locations that are participating in the contest. So there are 3 in Virginia Beach, 1 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk. Would love for you to check these places out. All you have to do is go to our contest page. It's at WTKR.com/Marcos. You might want a Pozzoli for lunch. Love those things. I love the Pozzolis. And then the Magnifico is what we're giving away. Think about maybe one topping. It's 1 pizza per month for a whole year. And to win, all you have to do is go to WTKR.com/Marcos. Those 10 lucky winners will be announced on this platform on Thursday. So very excited about that. And by the way, if you are not going to win necessarily, you don't have to win, but if let's say you don't win, maybe you're not selected as the 10, you could still get some pizza here. Ready for this? This is what I think is cool. This is like everybody in the newsroom is talking about, you mean I could get half off? You mean I only get half a pizza? No. You get a whole pizza. You get a whole pizza for half the price. All you have to do is use the promo code WTKR50. It's only good this week. That's why it says in all caps, deal of the week, 50%. Check them out. I'll visit this again a little bit later, but I want to get back to the weather. You know and I know we've had now some rain, but it hasn't been torrential, but we've had enough to notice Edenton 0.08. And if you look at the amount of May rain, typically we get about 3.78. We've now had 4.25 at the top of the banner there. That's as of 7 o'clock tonight. So I've added up the 0.08 to what we've had so far this month, and now we're at 3.78. Is that amazing? I think that's amazing. So we've got, 4 more days to the month. We're going to add to this. We're going to have an excessive amount of rain, which may be great for the growing season. Some might say, what are you growing? Maybe it's tomatoes. Maybe it's cucumbers. Let me know, because I'd love to hear from you. By the way, you know what's something, if you just joined us back, because maybe you were, like many, on a break over Memorial Day, one of the things I don't know if you're aware that we're able to do, and I love this because one of the cool things that we can do here, let me see if I can cool this up. I think this would be fun. We had hail, as many of you know, last Thursday. Oh, there it is. There it is. I see the hail. That is a hail-covered deck from our friend Ambler Hatchet, who happens to work here. But he posted this picture on the comment section. So the hailstones covering the deck last Thursday, May 22nd. We can see that. So, oh, that's kind of cool. So you can see it on the screen. You mean next time we have hail, we can put on, yes, we could do even better than that, right? Because if you really want to get involved, we could talk about maybe circling. Could we do that? I don't know. Can we do that? I think we can do that. If I go back to my screen here, I'll go back to my telestrator. Oh, yeah, well, I think we can do that. So there it is. There's my telestrator. Let me go back to the comment, because one of the cool things is being able to circle stuff. If we want to put a smiley face here, and then we could maybe clear all that off. But we can do some circling and have some fun. That's really what this is supposed to be designed to do, is to be interactive. So if we can be interactive, it's a good thing. We can put the hail picture back on. I'll send it back through. There it is. And if you need a little more help to see where exactly that is, and I'll go ahead and expand that a little bit better. Let me come back here. Let's just see if I can expand it. So you can see Hatch took this picture, and it's a little bit clearer now. That looks like hail. And maybe I can tell that it's probably maybe dime size, maybe quarter size hail. So thank you so much, Hat, for sharing that with us. And if you have a comment, let me know. I'll do my best to magnify your voice. That's what this whole platform was designed to do. All right, back to the maps we go. The rainfall we talked about, 4 1/4 so far in Norfolk. We're now about a half inch above normal, and we still have 4 days left. More rain and downpours expected tomorrow, heaviest in the morning and through midday. Some rain Thursday, but more on Friday, and Sunday looks better than Saturday. How's that for convenience? I think that's pretty sweet. I mean, all you have to do is really just check it out, because the aspect of this rain will be sizable. Wednesday's planner puts the heavier storms in the morning through midday. It may be less rain in time for the Norfolk Tides game that's tomorrow night. They're doing a doubleheader. They had rain obviously affect them tonight, but most of the day will be spent in the 60s. Most of the day, if we're lucky, we get in the low 70s tomorrow. We're watching that very closely for sure. If you got a comment, let me know. I am looking at some of the other comments. Let me go back and let me see where I can pull this up. I know as I continue on the maps, bear with me, I'm multitasking. It's just me in this booth. Isn't that wild? I mean, you're doing all this stuff by yourself. I am. I know, it's crazy. But that's what I'm doing. Anyway, this is the radar as of 7:47. Clearly you can see, let's see here, the rain is covering Ahoskie, Elizabeth City. We've got some rain right now in some areas around Duck, Elizabeth City. Exmoor's got some light rain showers, as well as Williamsburg at this point. So I'm going to try and import some of these comments. Hopefully they'll come in. I got a couple more here, and let's see here. We'll go ahead and view that. So we have Keith. Keith is on here. He's got a question, maybe a comment. Let's see if we can put him on the screen. Right over here. Maybe it's back over here. Let's put back Keith. Keith Fentress is saying, Colorado heavy rain last 4 days. How are you checking in on the home front? Where you've got some rain too, Keith. Maybe not as much as you might have had, but let me see if I can pull this back up here. Well, just a click of the mouse. Ba-boom. Hopefully this will come back on. And there is also a note from Adam. Adam has a question comment, and hopefully we can put him on the screen here. Oh, the love the technology until it works. It doesn't work. But here's the satellite radar over the last couple of minutes, maybe the last couple of hours now. Raining in Ahoskie, Elizabeth City, and Duck. Clearly, we've got some issues with, let's see here, put this back on here. Let's double click, see if this goes through. Nope, that's not wanting to go on there for some reason. It's fickle. It's temperamental today, but that's okay. We'll figure this out as I play along some more. But anyway, the rain that we're getting right now will continue this evening. It's going to subside. You saw there's some breaks west of I-95. And then there's another low that's across Middle Tennessee. Yes, it's called Middle Tennessee, not Central, but they will be moving that low here by tomorrow morning. So we've got the potential for heavy rain going into the next couple of days. I think Wednesday and Friday are the soggiest. And as you can see, the rain potential there would be focused really over really 1 to 2 inches or more across much of the region. All right, let's see if I can play this back on here. See if I can get this other note on here. It's loving me today. I don't know why, but it seems to love me. When I love it and works, it's perfect. When it doesn't work, it's not so perfect. But that's where things are. Let's clear this off. But 1.7 inches of rain potentially around Norfolk over the next 3 or 4 days. Now, climatologically speaking, the fancy word is, when do we typically see tropical storms? right? It's usually in the months of August and September we see a spike. Historically, over the last, 173 years, going back to 1851, it's usually in that late summer and late summer, and I'll come back on camera, late summer and early part of September. So basically, you've got a spike, right? So this spike is usually in the late summer, not in the early. So climatologically speaking, having a tropical development early is not favored. But I want to show you what I'm seeing that we could see in the month of June, which might be of great interest to you as you plan accordingly. Let me go back to the maps here if I pop this back up on screen. So what we're talking about is climatologically, the yellow line is where we are today. We're approaching June 1st. The spike you see around September 1st, September 10th, historically is when most of the tropical storms and hurricanes are in the Atlantic. It doesn't mean it's hitting the United States. That's not what this suggests. It's not when it's necessarily hitting the Gulf or hitting the New England, but these are a good idea of when things typically ramp up. And so when you get a lot of tropical storms or hurricanes in September or maybe early October, it tends to surprise folks. What's going on? It's the fact that it's had all summer to heat up the water. And if you were in the water here at Virginia Beach over the weekend, you know it's not very warm. It's still in the 60s. So just wanted to show you this. Also, Sahara dust. Questions come up about what does that play, or what kind of role does that play? The dust itself reflects the sunlight, and the dry air limits the thunderstorms. So if you get a lot of dust that usually you look at in late summer, it's a natural occurrence. You get Sahara dust coming off of Africa. It can actually mute some of the storms and actually maybe work in our favor that we don't get as much activity. But I wanted to show you what I can hopefully do here. Barring my equipment here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter because I wanted you to see what I'm seeing. I'm focused on the month of June for a second. Bear with me. See all this rain that we've got going on here? I'm going to go back to the telestrator. I'm going to add up a little bit here, but put my coloring here so we get this. Okay, so we have basically moving into the next month of June, right in here along the East Coast, we have what we like to call a trough, upper level trough. So if we get this trough, and if there's a lot of dominoes here, a lot of pieces of the puzzle. If we get a low pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico like this, which there is a suggestion that will be the case, some of the long range models want to take it either A, toward Knoxville, interesting I've got that audience today, or up along the coast. And this would likely occur during the third week of June. Did you just say what I think you said? I think I did. Let me see if I can put this on the screen, because I think what I did was I put it on the telestrator, but I didn't put it on the screen here. So let me come back here. Let me come back on this other call. Let's see if we could put this here. There we go. I knew it eventually happened. I knew I'd finally figure out this technology, because let's face it, I am not a finished product. I'm still working on this. But this is the low in the Gulf that may work its way to A, Knoxville, or the East Coast by the time we hit the third week of June. There are some long-range models. Now, does this mean we're going to get a hurricane? Absolutely not. I don't have that intel. I can tell you that if we get a heavy rainmaker, it could make June look like the month of May in terms of rain, because some of you are like, this was not the unofficial summer start that I expected over Memorial Day weekend. Saturday was great. Sunday wasn't too bad, but it turned and went downhill after the fact. So those are the things that clearly we have to watch, but this is something I'm watching for the third week in June for early development, potentially. Is it favored? No. As we've already covered from this image, this one here, usually you expect it to happen during the months of maybe October, I'd say August, September, early October, right? Those are the months that we typically expect to find the spike. So if we get something in June, it's not unheard of, but it's not necessarily climatologically favored. And that's why I say we'll be watching this all the same. All right, let's keep moving. It's 7:53, 7:54 now. Clearly, we got a lot of rain going on the East Coast. Void of New England, some rain we heard in Colorado from our friend Keith Fentress. He's over there too. And if you're on the call, let me know, because I'll do my best to magnify your voice. I got some other comments. Dawn Rumsey says, David, good evening. I hope you're having a great day. Janie Welch says, thank you, David. Lana Johnson says, hope all is well. Got Ann Hatmaker Hill watching. Isaac Atkins is watching as well. And I see Michael Morris says, hi, David. There's something brewing in the Pacific. Think that'll affect those as it strengthens. It's possible. The first named storm in the Pacific is likely to occur pretty soon. But my suspicion is that we're going to get something about the third weekend in June. By the time we get next month, we'll see. And you can always hold me accountable for it. But again, that's what I like about First Warning Weather is that we hope to be ahead of the curve so that you're prepared. That's what I want to do. All right, so let's get back to the maps. As I mentioned, we got a lot of rain across parts of the country. The Virginia Beach oceanfront, I should mention, is kind of cool. It may be closer to 68 degrees now. The temperature, the water temperature may be warmer than the air temperature, because right now the air temperature is pretty chilly. We usually expect water temperature to be more like bath water in the months of July and August. We've had only 3 days. That was the first, we hit May 1st was 90. May 16th was 91. And we had a 90-degree day way back on April 6th. But typically July is usually our hottest month. So when you look at the scoreboard, we're 14 days above normal, 11 days below normal, and a 66-degree high today seems pretty weak, right? When you expect normally a high around 80, we're a far cry from that. So you might be wondering, when is summer? Well, yesterday was the unofficial start of summer. That was Memorial Day. This Sunday is June 1st, start of hurricane season, start of meteorological summer. We block those 3 months at a time. That would be June, July, and August is meteorological summer. But really, astronomically speaking, June 20th, Friday, summer solstice, 1042. So it's a very precise time astronomically, but you could argue that the next day, since it's at night, 1042 at night, you'd say maybe Saturday, June 21st is the first full day of real bona fide summer. Temperature right now, 62 in Virginia Beach, 60 in Chesapeake. Want to say good evening to Kitty Hawk. Anyone watching there, let me know, 64. And I got some other notes from Kim Thompson Jones. Says, good evening, David, and good evening, everyone. Glad to have you all here. I'm watching the WTKR page. Hopefully I can get my system back up to get your comments back on. That's my goal anyway. Trying to put that back on so we can start this party. By the way, did I mention that we're giving away free pizza? That we are giving away free pizza. So I'm going to get back to Marco's here in a moment, but they've been awesome. And you can win free pizza for a year. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos. So that's where you go, and then we'll be announcing the winners upcoming this Thursday. So that's where things are. All right, so I pop this back on. I'm looking at my post here, see if this will actually come back on. Let's see if I can get your comment on here, because it's a work in progress. Once you get the hang of it, then hopefully then this will populate and we can have this back on the screen. Okay, Michael Moore says there's something in the Pacific. Got that. Let's see if I can get Kim on here. Is she on here? Oops, I got so much going on here. Let's see if I can try number 3 setting. Boop. Okay. Meanwhile, as I continue on, temperature right now, Suffolk 60 degrees. Temperatures in Beckley at 50. Knoxville 68, 73 in Myrtle Beach, and Hatteras currently is at 63 degrees. Temperatures are very cool across much of the heartland of the country. That's not, you can't dispute that. It's 63 in Chicago, 59 in Minneapolis, like just several days before June. That's weird. Very unusually cool, and you can see it's a little warmer to the far deep south. Temperature trend here in Hampton Roads in Norfolk. Virginia Beach should be struggling to hit 72 tomorrow, 80 for Thursday. The expectation is we'll be closer to normal by Saturday with a 30% chance of more rain. But I still think Sunday is the pick weekend of the two once we're at 76 degrees. The radar view, again, pictured here, and you can see the radar and satellite picture coming back on the screen. Just wanted to kind of revisit some of the comments and notes that I'm reading manually again. I've had to go back to my comments on the screen. But again, I got a note from Diana Dushek is waving hello. Got some new comments coming in, but as this rain moves out, don't be surprised if you've got some heavy rain during the morning commute. It may not happen at 7, but if you're out the door at 8, 9, or 10, plan on the heavy rain to be part of the obstacles that you have to navigate to get to your destination, because it could very well be very, very heavy. This, what we're looking at now, I would call light to moderate rain, but what's going to be coming is going to be heavier in the morning. By the way, you can download the free News 3 First Warning Weather app. It's free. Go to WTKR.com/apps. Have multiple sources for information. Having a battery-powered NOAA weather radio is a great backup when in case if your phone dies, you lose the battery charge, you've got the battery, hopefully the protector with the NOAA weather radio to keep the notifications coming. Rain chances up to 80% tomorrow. That's a lot. And then it pulls back a little bit by tomorrow evening, hopefully in time for the Tides game. And then 40% Thursday, 60% Friday. That may have to go up, but it does diminish quite a bit Saturday. And I think it's basically off the page by the time we hit Sunday. Does that help? I hope so. Here's your Eastern Shore expectation tomorrow. We're looking at Bloxham at 67, Onancock 68 for a high temperature tomorrow. Moving south to Exmoor, we got 68, and our friends in Cape Charles at 69. The Outer Banks, low 70s tomorrow with a 90% chance of rain in Kill Devil Hills. 72 there, Duck 71, Nag's Head 72, Manio 73, while Rodanthe and also Hatteras in the lower, if not mid-70s, Ocracoke about 77 degrees. Clearly there's a lot of clouds here. It's now 8 o'clock. I'll try and finish up here in the next 3 minutes. I'll do my best. Obviously the technical difficulties of the growing pains, it's what it is. 5:49, I don't expect to see much of the way of sunrise tomorrow, but I expect 8:16 we'll see maybe a better chance of seeing maybe some of that sunlight. The Storm Prediction Centers, we transition into these national maps. The colors are everything, right? Level 1, which we usually associate with a marginal risk, simply means isolated. And level 2, which is yellow, we call it a slight risk. It's usually associated with scattered. And if you see orange, it's not as common, but orange would mean numerous severe storms, or also level 3. Now this is for the rest of tonight, carries us right to about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you have family in southwest Texas, Del Rio, San Angelo, they could have some scattered severe storms. Over toward New Orleans, it might be isolated, but Montgomery might have scattered severe storms. And it looks like isolated in Atlanta for the rest of the night and into tomorrow morning. We could even include parts of North Topsail Beach, Wrightsville Beach, Wilmington, Oak Island, and Jacksonville for the possibility of some isolated severe storms. Back home, nothing really for the rest of the night. This is just plain old rain that we're getting. Now tomorrow, Storm Prediction Center from their lens continues on the theme of yellow, scattered for areas in North Texas, the panhandle of Oklahoma, for example, just north of Amarillo, West Texas, parts of New Mexico could have scattered severe storms. Corpus Christi, Houston, also some isolated severe storms tomorrow, as well as New Orleans, Panama City, Destin, which is a popular destination I know from Knoxville, but we want you to come to Virginia Beach. Come to Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, and the Outer Banks. We'd love to see you. They're going to have isolated severe storms in the Destin area, Savannah, Tybee Island. All these areas have the risk for some isolated severe storms on Wednesday, while Jacksonville and places like Wilmington also under level 1. Back home tomorrow, we are in the clear. No severe weather expected tomorrow or on Thursday. You can see the green area is basically what prevails for Dallas, Austin, Houston, New Orleans, isolated severe possibilities there. And we'll continue to watch the severe weather threat down toward Daytona Beach and maybe as far north as Charleston, South Carolina. It does not include Myrtle. We look pretty good here as well. I'm looking at some other new comments that are coming in. Denmark says, wow, that's a lot of huge hail that we saw. Oh yeah, hopefully, like I said, once the pictures pop up, hopefully it'll make it a little easier to see. But I do have interesting pictures that might be coming up in the next time we go around with the severe weather, because it certainly is going to be not the last time that we see hail in our region. That was last Thursday. So let me break it down here. It's 8:03. The rest of tonight, I know we've got rain that probably covers more than what you see here, but that's the trend. It's really to drop some of this rain that you see over here off to the page here. So like most of these showers that are light are going to continue to exit stage right, and that's the point of time that we anticipate this will improve, at least for much of the overnight, because this is 11 o'clock, a lot of clouds, it's still damp and raining north perhaps of Williamsburg and up toward the peninsulas, Middle Peninsula. But by the time we hit 7 in the morning, if you're in Elizabeth City and say, oh, it's not raining yet, no, it might not be raining in Elizabeth City, for example, at 7 a.m. But look at the trend here. This brings in some very heavy rain over Franklin, Ahoskie, Williamsburg, and then downpours around midday tomorrow. So if you have outdoor plans in Norfolk, in Virginia Beach tomorrow, I really, really, really hope you have an umbrella within reach, because you're going to get some good mileage out of it, right? This is noontime tomorrow, and look at the winds. They're coming out of the southeast about 10 to 20. And so you're going to have easily gusts probably close to 30. It's going to be wind-driven rain. Is this going to be the way it is for the rest of the day? Nope, it won't. 3 o'clock, it might just be light rain, steady rain in parts of northeast North Carolina. And then by 5 o'clock, it looks like another thunderstorm in red in parts of Norfolk. So again, we're not out of the woods just because it's in the afternoon, but it might lessen in intensity with the downpours expected. By 10 o'clock tomorrow night, baseball might be wrapping up. The skies might have cleared a bit. a little bit before we cloud back up on Thursday. And we do it again. It's a lather, rinse, and repeat. Showers return 5 o'clock on Thursday, and they continue into Elizabeth City and southern sections of the Outer Banks. So really 11 o'clock on Thursday, we're just waiting for the next shoe to drop, and that's going to come in on Friday. If you need evidence, this is a macro view of what we just saw through 5 p.m. Thursday. So you can see it doesn't look like it's raining hard, but boy, once you get into about, say, 7:30 in the morning on Friday, it looks like it's stopped. But you would be mistaken. By 4 o'clock, it's coming down harder, and it's pretty steady. I mean, that's 8 o'clock. If you've got Friday night plans, you're going to be like, man, I wish I knew it was going to rain. It's going to rain pretty hard on Friday night. I would think the afternoon on Friday is more conducive for these downpours, so just make sure that you're prepared for that change. It will come, and it will be coming down in buckets. So like I said, this is why that 1.5 to 3 inch total was put out by some of the models, because they saw this as a multi-day event as far as heavy rains at times. Temperatures tonight should begin to rise. We already looked at the current readings in the low 60s, so if that's where you are right now, I trust with the change in the wind direction, our temperatures should start to rise. And so when you're out the door tomorrow morning, we're likely to go from the low to mid 60s to the mid to upper 60s by first thing tomorrow morning by sunlight. And the sun is up, as I said, just before 6 a.m. Wednesday afternoon, upper 60s for the peninsulas, low 70s south side, and mid 70s in North Carolina. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. 80 on Thursday, 79 on Friday, and we're in the low 80s on Saturday. Mid 70s on Sunday. I do like Sunday for the fact that it's dry, it's mostly sunny, just some cirrus clouds high above, and maybe some spots of rain on Monday, but I think we make up for it on Tuesday next week because we're back in the lower 80s and it's comfortable, right? Lots of sunshine, but the hope of getting a sunshine this week is diminished dramatically simply because of what was a stalled system that's now beginning to approach in this particular direction. So stay with me. By the way, we're giving away free pizza. Did I mention that? Oh, and we're also giving away 50% off the pizza. You don't even have to win. You win just from watching this platform. Marcos.com has a promo code. It's WTKR50. You type it into the promo, go to Marcos.com, WTKR50. This is another great deal of the week. This is the first deal of the week, so to speak, but Marcos being very generous with giving 50% off. So you can try it. Maybe you've never tried Marcos Pizza. I think you're going to be impressed. Now, the contest announcing the winners will come on Thursday. It's not too late to go to WTKR.com/Marcos to the contest page. If you register, your name will be put in a drawing. It's not picked by me, but 10 lucky winners will be announced this week, and I want to make sure you check it out. By the way, they have a great Pozzoli. It's kind of like a calzone. It's very filling. It's a great lunch item. I personally love the Pozzolis, but you might love just the pepperoni pizza. That is also available, and they'll be giving those away. Again, you can find Marcos Pizza all over Hampton Roads and the Tidewater area at Marcos.com, but these 5 locations are key for not only winning Pizza for a Year, but also for the 50% deal of the week. Does that help? I hope so. I hope it helps. By the way, I want to just recap. We'll end with some happy shots because I'll tell you what, let the conversation keep going. I wanted to show you Marvin's picture. If you're new to our area, maybe you're homesick, maybe this is home or this is home away from home and you're in the military. This was taken from one of our WTKR photographers at the Lee Hall Depot, City of Newport News. Isn't that nice? You got a nice little yellow rail car, maybe a caboose, but the historic Jamestown from Susan McCall showing some geese flying right over Captain John Smith, governor of Virginia in 1608. Gotta love some history. You don't get any more history than Jamestown, perhaps, in this neck of the woods. And then, of course, Jack. Jack submitted this photo. He said he has all his ducks in order. But they're probably geese, but that's okay. I love it. Eastern Shore sunset. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And thank you, Jack, for sharing that picture with us. And just to recap, if we're looking at that 7-day again, wanted to let you know that it will be a little while before we get well above normal. Right now, the trend is below normal for at least the next day or so. By the way, as I come back on camera, just want to say thank you for your time and patience as I continue to work out the kinks of our system. That's the beautiful thing about being on the internet. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get the information out to you. And remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. Every day is a gift. So make the most of these days. Make the most of these days and in your neighborhood. We'll see you here next time. Take care.